Hi and welcome. This is Dr. Dana Garner, doctorate level board certified behavior analyst, licensed behavior specialist, owner and clinical director of Garner Behavior Services, an IBHS center-based ABA therapy facility. And this presentation is just a little welcome, a little information about what we do and who we are. First, I would like to read our mission statement to you as I find this extremely important. This mission statement was created by our employees for our company. We spent several staff meetings developing this, discussing it, trying to figure out what was important to us as a company to provide to our clients, to the parents of our clients, and to our community. So our mission statement is, at GBS, it is our mission to provide a fun, engaging therapeutic environment for children with autism to thrive, grow, and expand their independence, in addition to supporting families and providing community outreach programs. Some of the services we offer are center-based, one-on-one ABA for preschool-aged children, typically 2 to 6 years old. That is our main service that we provide. We do have a center in Lycoming County and Union County currently. We do provide some in-home for the children attending the centers. Our center hours are currently Monday through Thursday, 9 to 2, but in fall of 2023, we will be opening up to 5 days a week and running those sessions Monday through Friday from 9 to 2 p.m. We can also do home-based for children ages 6 to 19. This is on a case-by-case basis. And we are starting after-school social skills group for children ages 6 to 10. We hope to open that up to other age groups as well as we get going. We will be starting that in our Williamsport Center and expanding it to our Lewisburg Center, hopefully as an ESY-related service. Our hopes are to also do something similar in the Williamsport Center as well. Here are some pictures of our center. This is the Williamsport Center specifically. We mix intensive work with a lot of play and interaction and physical activity. So our children are pretty tired by the end of the day. They've had a lot of activity and a lot of work by the end of the day. Now, currently, GBS does not offer support within the school setting for children that go into kindergarten through grade 12. It is our viewpoint that it is absolutely imperative that parents rely on the IEP and learn to work with the school on their children's IEP, but understanding that some of our kids may need some additional supports, we do like to network with other agencies that do provide support in the schools so that we have some referral options for our parents. GBS tries to do a lot of community outreach in our areas. We conduct several trainings throughout the year. We are participating in parades. There's an event called First Friday in Williamsport where we have a table set up. We do some face painting and other activities. We attend job fairs. We've done fundraising activities before, such as baseball games and wiffle ball tournaments. So we try to participate in as much as we can. We try to network with other area agencies, such as the intermediate units, school districts, and currently we are also working with SASE, a local parent support group in Williamsport. We have been very proud of our employee retention. GBS has been open about 6 years, and we're averaging about a 42% turnover rate, which for anybody in the field, you know that this is a low turnover rate. The turnover rate can be upwards of 70+% in agencies like this. We find that we have a low turnover rate because we do send out yearly employee satisfaction surveys, and we use that information to change how we approach our employees each year, how we organize our system. We are always looking for ways that we can provide more and do better by our employees. We try to balance supporting our employees without micromanaging them. And we have a huge focus on working together as a team, whether they're on the site at the center, or in a home setting. We really try to work as a team and listen to each other, and trying to be flexible and compassionate with each employee's needs. We have a lot of employees that are also students at local colleges and universities, have other things going on in their home lives, and may need a more flexible schedule. So we do try to be very flexible when we can. All of our incoming students have various assessments conducted on them. Of course, each client coming in has a functional behavior assessment conducted to determine the functions of maladaptive behaviors. We tend to do the VB map. That's just an assessment that I have really enjoyed working with, to identify the skills that we want to build. We will use social skills surveys. We'll observe across environments. Lots of interviews with the caregivers because they know their children best. And then we use all this information to develop the individualized treatment plan for each child. Here's an example. This is an example of the grid for the VB map. It's 3 separate grids. So this is the first one, this is the second child, and this is the third child. The blue indicates intake. So that would be the intake assessment for each child, would be what skills they're coming in with. The red would be the first update, how many skills they might have gained within the first 3 to 6 months. Green would have been the second update. And orange would be the third update. Now these updates might be quarterly or every 6 months or once a year, depending on the child's needs, their progress rate, and their insurance requirements. Some of our skill outcomes. Everything we do is data oriented and graphed, so that we're not just guessing and throwing, shots in the dark. We are actually watching the data to make sure that our interventions are working and that we are moving towards our goals. If we're not moving towards our goals, then we know we have to try a different intervention, different materials, some kind of different approach. We don't want to waste the child's time. We do work on toileting with our children once they come in and once they've acclimated to the centers. This child had a little more difficulty with toileting. We have a behavioral toileting program that we used. It's a very modified, extremely modified Fox and Aspirin toileting protocol. And we were having difficulty toileting this child, and then we found out that this child had very absorbing underwear on, the real thick kids' underwear. So we asked the parents to switch that out into regular underwear. And once that was done, right around this area, sorry, my phase line didn't come through, we then had great success. These graphs are more of our typical toileting outcomes. Most of our kids are toilet trained within a week. For example, the dates here go from December 6th, starting on December 6th, and this date here is December 20th. Even though we carried the data through until January, we carried it through about a month to make sure that we are maintaining that toileting. The blue dots are wet. So we have one accident the first day, and then the child stays dry. The oranges are void in the toilet. Some children hold it all day. Some children use the toilet while they're at the center. You can see here too, super intensive decrease. Let me see if I can see these dates. This is all the same month. I think that's 9/21 to 9/28. So that's all within a week that we finally see this level out. And then this one down here, we had a little bit of a bump up in the data of wetting pants, and then we finally leveled out without wetting our pants anymore. There was 1 week in which we toilet trained 5 kids in the same week. But we have found that the program has been really good for at least toilet training the children for urination, getting them on a schedule. The toilet training for BMs takes a little bit longer, and initiation takes a little bit longer, but just getting to this point has been extremely helpful for parents, daycares, preschools, caregivers, babysitters. So this has been extremely helpful just to get to this point at least. And then we can continue working on initiation, BMs, and other toileting habits. We also graph our data and we have on behavior reduction. So we have in the first graph, aggression. Now these two graphs are actually on a 4-year-old that was removed from 5 daycares due to aggression. And you see this took about 3 months for us to get the aggression down to 0 finally and to maintain it for a month. And these are actually intervals. We did partial interval data because the aggression was so high. So we were documenting the percentage of intervals in which aggression occurred, which most days it was only 5 to 10% of the intervals. There was a couple that it bumped up a little to about 15%, and then we finally got it down. This was also a child that when she got very angry, she would urinate herself. So that was an issue. We implemented a little procedure. We had a couple spikes there. I think she was actually sick on those 2 days, which may have been why we had those spikes. So a little bit of an outlier, but then we have had no urination during tantrums, and I just checked the continued data on this client. It continues to be 0. This is another client we had. This was a 6-year-old that would hit, this child's 6-year-old now, would hit, grab, push peers, would also disrobe. This child is now in school with minimal supports. He does not have a one-on-one from an agency in school, but he is in a specialized classroom. We were able to finally get clothing removal down to 0. The aggression, this is number of times per day. Even though 2 to 4 might not seem a lot, it is when you're going after other kids. They don't tend to like that, and parents don't tend to like that. But we were able to get long periods of time, 2-3 months without aggression. And then we would occasionally see one pop up, which sometimes for the age group may be somewhat appropriate depending on the situation. So that had significantly decreased as well. Some more behaviors that we worked on, genital stimulation. We had a 12-year-old that would engage in genital stimulation constantly. Not constantly, but quite often. And this was a number of times during a session, and our sessions were only 2-hour sessions. And we would teach the individual to do this in an appropriate place. We don't want to teach shame or embarrassment, just there's an appropriate place for things. So we would prompt the child to, if you needed to engage in that behavior. There's a place for this. In the classroom or in the hallway or in a public place is not the place for this. So we were able to reduce the amount of time significantly. You can see that graph. It was a steady over just a couple weeks. That's maybe a 2-week time frame that this child learned to use a private location for this need. This was also a student that would just hug people, touch people, not inappropriately, just want to sit on people's laps, be on them all the time. And so we would teach him to ask for permission, because just like his body is important to him and we need to respect him, he also needs to respect other people. And you don't have the right to walk up to somebody and constantly hug them or touch them. I might not want you touching me. I might have my own issues and not want you sitting on my lap or touching me or all over me. So we were able to increase significantly, from about the 40 to 50% to over 70%, where he would ask before he impulsively touched somebody or got into their space. So that was extremely helpful, especially in the school setting where there was a lot of other kids that did not want that close proximity. Oh, and our newest additions this past year were Dexy and Torgo, our therapy dogs in training. They are not therapy dogs yet, but they are going through training. Both have started at the centers from 8 weeks of age. They know the kids very well. Yes, they occasionally get into a stuffed toy or two that ends up needing tossed, but because there's still a lot of puppy. But they have been absolutely wonderful with the kids. The kids have absolutely loved Dexy and Torgo and ask for them and know them by name. They take turns brushing them and walking them. And both dogs know to, not jump on the children and to sit for them or lay down for them. So this has been a wonderful addition to our centers. My goal is to continue their training, and hopefully I will find an agency that will help me get them through the training as autism service dogs, even though they can't legally be autism service dogs unless they are actually tied to an individual with autism. As of right now, and I'm doing this presentation in February of 23, as of right now, we have no wait list for our center-based programs in Lewisburg and Lycoming County, or Union County and Lycoming County. So for the ages of 2 to 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds is a little late because we'll only have a couple months. We'll no sooner get over assessment and they'll be going off to school. So we would prefer kids coming in at a younger age so we have a little more time to work with them. If you are interested or you have a client or a child that's needing our services, you can call the number listed there. We will need a current psych eval, which is less than 2 years old, that states the autism diagnosis, a written order, which we can send you a copy of, and we are now accepting medical assistance and most commercial insurances. We are also hiring as well in both centers. We are hiring behavior technicians, registered behavior technicians, licensed behavior specialists, and board certified behavior analysts. There's all of our information. I try to do some things up on TikTok, little informational things. I also have a lot of, video of my dogs and cats and a little bit of fun stuff up there too, but I am trying to put some stuff up there. I also have, that's not on this slide, a YouTube channel that I am working on getting a lot more training up on. And I think it's just Garner Behavior Services. If you search YouTube, you can also like our Facebook page, or you can email me for any of this information. My email is right there and my phone is right there. My phone is typically off, the ringer is off, because if I'm working with clients or in a meeting, I don't answer my phone. So please make sure you leave a message so I can call you back. The best way to reach me though would be email. And that is all. That's another one of our little logos with Dexy, of course. That's actually drawn by my daughter. She's into some digital design. And thank you very much for joining me today.